without that thing called a job, by doing what we can use our hands to do. So I think, thank you, I think for every one of you, whatever it is you can do, if it is cooking, if it is drawing, if it is taking photos, if it is dancing, just keep at it. The only small thing is that you may not be able to get money paid to you monthly like the person who works in the office. But I'll tell you, 15 years down the line of doing that thing you love, honestly, in most cases, you find yourself ahead of those that have been working for months. So I just think we should believe more in ourselves. Money is not success. We have been brought up, I belong to this generation of those of us who think make money and then that's all fine. Honestly, I'll tell you, money is not it. It is that satisfaction of being able to create with your hands. That's what pays you. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. A round of applause for Bolaji. And if you're interested in being an artist, anything artistic, please get in touch with him. Grab him before he leaves. Now, he does a lot of graphics and video. He is a specialist in scuba diving. Scuba diving, okay. He's a specialist in that. So if you're interested, get in touch with him before he leaves. A round of applause, Bolaji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just a reminder again, we have Beloxy. Submit your CVs. If you're interested in working with Beloxy, submit your CVs. For mutual assurance, 5 interns, finance interns are needed for mutual assurance, and also 2 personal assistants. If you're interested, submit your CVs to any of the protocol officers you see around. Now, I'll quickly call on Engineer Atsikidi to come up the podium and just share a little about himself. Engineer Atsikidi is the MD for Triogas Nigeria Limited. Engineer Atsikidi, you're welcome. A round of applause for Engineer Atsikidi. More round of applause. This man has trained a lot. Some of you that know him will understand. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dele. God bless you. To start with, I'm going to start from the last part, the last segment. Dele, do you have my slides? Do you have my slides in the system? I'm going to start with the last segment of my presentation because of the way I'm excited about this forum. I am going to be talking about career development. But one element of career development is networking. Now, I want all of us here to see a demonstration of that networking through Dele. How do I mean? You agree with me that so far, with all the speakers that have spoken, that they all have a kind of good relationship with him. And to be honest with you, I honor this invitation to do this because of my relationship with him. And it's amazing how Dele is able to tell the details about each and every one of us. These are the attributes of good networking. You understand what I'm saying? Now, for you to succeed in developing your career, you must connect with people. And one good thing that Dele is good about is humility. If Dele wants to get something from you, he will not even mind prostrating. But as long as he gets the result. And I can assure you, as among all of us sitting down here, if we are to write about Dele, no one will say anything less than Dele is a nice boy. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? These are the ways you develop your relationship with people. And that is the essence of networking. Are you got what I'm saying? So, for me, personally, proud people irritate me. I can't stand people that are proud. Are you getting that? And I'm sure I'm not alone in that area. So you must learn to be humble. Humble does not mean that you should, humility does not mean that you should dishonor yourself. That's not what I'm saying. You understand what I'm trying to say? Your manner of approach, the way you relate with people, the way you talk, respect the old, respect the young, respect those that are even your peer group. You understand? That is one way of ensuring that you are doing networking. Anyway, I'm sure what I'm saying is not new to many of us here. But the reason why I am here today is to provoke us. If you have got that thing in you that has been buried for some reason or the other, and it's not driven out of you for some reason, we are here today to bring it out of you so that I can assure you that if that is done, virtually all of us here, if not 100% of us here, we have something doing. In Jesus' name. I like that. So, I want to provoke your career development instinct. Now, let me just point out something quickly. Do you know that every one of us is born into this world with a career? Every one of us. The problem we are having is that some of us refuse to identify what kind of career belongs to us. And even some of us are able to identify it. We refuse to develop it. So the crux of the matter is the development of the career. And I'm going to make it very, very simple so that you catch exactly what I mean by career development. Forget about the long word, development. It's very simple. All they are just asking you to do is acquire skills. That's in a nutshell. Do what? Acquire skills. Because nowadays, as an employer, I am not interested in your first class degree certificate. Neither am I interested in your second class degree certificate. But what I'm interested in is what can you do? And I'm glad some of my speakers have mentioned it to us here. Learn to work with your hands, as an example. Not only that, learn to work with your brain, as another example. These are ways to develop skills. Now, let's see how the reason why we have to develop career. The simple reason is that your career development resides right there in you. Nobody is going to do it for you. That is one thing I have discovered, that nobody does for another. Even your own dad cannot do it for you. Your mom can't do it for you. You have to do it yourself. So when people talk about career failure and so on, I always say, well, you have nobody else to blame other than yourself. You are responsible for yourself when it comes to the issue of career development. Your parents have done so much for you by ensuring that they paid your school fees to see you through your school system. That, again, is an aspect of development at that stage of preparation. But it is now up to you to develop it yourself. Now, let me give you a good scenario of what I'm saying. Two people can be employed in a company the same day, the same month, the same year, to do almost the same job, maybe similar job. And it will be amazing to you that a few years later, one of those two people will be elevated to a higher hierarchy than the other. What do you think is responsible for that? What do you think is responsible for that? It is not, I'm not talking about a situation where people are talking about godfatherism. In fact, a good businessman or a good employer will not want to introduce sentiments into his business. They will not want to promote you because you are beautiful or you are my brother, you are my son. No. They want somebody who has the capacity to generate what benefits the business. Because business, what is the meaning of business? Business is just to make profit. If you are doing something and you're not making profit, it's not called business. What is it called? Charity. That is the difference between charity and business. So any business, any employer, when they are employing you, they are employing you because they know that at the end of the day, you are going to make contributions to the organization that will help them to make their profit. So, in order for you to have that value, you must develop yourself. So the reason why you find that those two people, one is elevated and the other one is not elevated, is because one is taking more time developing himself than the other. You get what I'm saying? So it is very, very key that it's not just enough for you to look for a job. It is good that you begin to develop yourself, even before you secure the job. Do you know it's possible? You can begin to develop yourself before you even get a job. And that is what some of my speakers have been saying to you. That you can, when you don't have a job, instead of just lying down at home, you can do some voluntary work. Get yourself in some voluntary assignment. Don't feel like, oh, I need money to survive. Yes, one need money, I agree with you. But it will be amazing how that can turn out to be in the future. Something you might take like a child's play can become turn to something that maybe the organization you are working for voluntarily can say, this guy is very nice, good, and something else can come up from there. So you have to sit yourself down and take decisions. You know, examine yourself and see what you need to do. Do not wait for, let me tell you, there are many unemployed people out there, but there are few jobs available for them. So what do we do? Do we have to continue to remain like this, unemployed, and you continue to depend on your parents? Your parents that have suffered to see you through school, you are an adult, you're almost getting married, or you're almost marrying a wife, if not already married, and you are still depending on them. It's unfair to your parents, you know, to we parents, because I'm a parent too. So, really, this time is too short, to be honest. Okay. Now, the reason why your CD decides to do is because, number one, the ownership of the development of your career is entirely yours, and you are your own manager of your development process, and it is your own drive, your own personal future goals. It's all about you acquiring your own skill set and experience for your career growth. And it also builds up your entire career life, you know. Work life, which is called career. You know. Then, in addition to that, therefore, you can define career development along these 4 reference points. You have to learn. You must not stop learning. That is one aspect of developing your career. You must not stop learning. Read your books. Do you know that at my age, sometimes I still go back to my books, my notes that I use in the university. I still go back to them sometimes. I make reference to them sometimes. So I read new stuff and so on. So these are the things you need to learn to do all the time. You have to also work. Do something. Whether you are employed or not, find something to do. It doesn't matter. Look, when it comes to the issue of trying to develop, to acquire your skills, forget about menial issues. You know, take away that pride. That's the reason why I started with pride. Take away that pride. Work somewhere. You heard one of the speakers said he was working for a contractor, in a building area. And from there, he saw the need for him to develop his career along that line. Do something. And then leisure and transition. I think one of the speakers spoke about transition. I'm sure you can still remember that. And all of this will help to move you towards your future goal. That's the essence of career development. But let me assure you of one thing. You must take note of these key points. Because of time, I'm trying to highlight some of the key points so that at the end of the day, you take one and you have something to take home. I want you to understand something. When you are developing your career, do not believe that because you have not been promoted, your career is not being developed. No. Career development is simply yes, the path you are taking to acquire some experience, the skills you are acquiring. Then when it comes to career growth, that only has to do with promotion. In fact, promotion, which is equivalent to career growth, is the end result of your career development. Because before you can be promoted in an establishment, you must have been seen to be a viable staff of that organization. True or false? Okay? All right. I'm just trying to see how I can... there are different stages of career development, and there are 5 of them, but I summarize all of them in a chart which I developed. Now, if you look at this chart, it's not very clear. I don't know if you can see it clearly. If you look at this chart, you'll find out that on the left-hand axis, you see the stages, the lives, and the ages, and what you are expected to achieve within that period. And with this kind of a chart, you can actually do a self-examination to know where you are now and where you want to be. Probably, if you look at the service occupation, maybe you want to become the police IG of this country, and you are currently working as a banker. You understand? You now know that you are still very far away from your goal. Okay? So in other words, all you need to do is to begin to acquire experience and skills that will take you to your goal. All right? Then I have to skip some of this because of time. Oh, Lord. The key thing I actually I hope I have enough time to do this, is how you can monitor your career development. You want to know whether you're actually developing your career or not, is with the use of this chart. As you can see, I have at the bottom there industrial occupation, commercial occupation, service occupation. Now, maybe at the entry job, at the entry job point, you are in organization 01, and you are actually climbing the ladder, and that's good, that's fair enough. And you have another path you can take. You can take it horizontally. I'm sure with this graph you can do a kind of interpretation of what I'm trying to say here. You can move diagonally. These are different ways you can actually develop your career, which means, anytime I use the word development of career, it simply means acquire skill sets from different organizations, from different aspects of work, and so on and so forth. So when you're able to do this, I can assure you that at the end of the day, you discover that you can buy any job, because the currency with which workers buy job is skills. What I simply mean is that whenever you are hired, they are hiring you because of your skills. So you need to acquire skills even before you get the job. So if you want to buy a job, let me use that phrase, buying a job. Buying a job is equivalent to you having the money to buy it. And that money that you need to buy the job is what? Your skills. So that's where I read my case. Sorry about the time.
Thank you so much. Now, he has a slide. Now, if you're interested in that slide, you can always get in touch with him. Then, for those that are interested in piping engineering, if you're interested in anything that has to do with piping, oil and gas, steam, things like that, please, that is the best person you need to get in touch with, if you're interested. So, his name is Gregory at Sikidi, Engineer Greg. But on Facebook, you will see Greg at Sikidi, Greg at Sikidi. That's his name on Facebook. So you can always meet with him, chat him up. Like Bolaji said earlier, networking is very, very key. So you need to meet all these people. And most, I recall, 4 of the jobs I did, it wasn't as if maybe I got to know anybody or maybe I applied. We actually chatted online. That was how I was able to secure some of these jobs. So, guys, we need to start doing more of this. So, now, we have, I think we need to start serving refreshments. I think we need to start serving refreshment because I know some of us might be kind of hungry. So we need to start sharing refreshments. Or what do you think? So let me just welcome to the podium Ezine Obiora. Ezine Obiora is an HR expert. Like I said, she's the best in her class. I respect her for that. Now, when she was the best in her class, the next person to her was like... So, just for you to know the kind of person she is, she's an HR expert. She's my friend of over 15 years. Over 15 years. And I'm sure she'll do justice to it. A round of applause for...
Good afternoon, everyone. So the previous speaker spoke about career development. I'm still going to be talking about career development. First of all, I'd like to say, in as much as Benga is my friend, it's a privilege to be here to speak to you. At some point in our lives, we were in this position, looking to the future. We're not sure of what the future was. And I'm also privileged to be speaking amongst great people. Okay, so career development. It's one thing to get a job, but it's another thing to stay relevant, in your career. So I'm happy that the speakers here are talking about a whole range of things. So some people are talking on how to get a job, but then we are here to tell you about when you get that job, how to chart that course. Now, I don't know what your expectations are this afternoon or this throughout the day, but I hope that you can at least take one or two things from this. Because some of us did not have the privilege, to have this kind of guidance. Some people just walked into a career and you just walked into it blindly. Let me give an analogy. So now, you want to travel, you want to take a journey to Ibadan. I'm sure you have to prepare for that journey, right? You don't just get up to take a journey and say, okay, get up in the morning, and you just start walking without any plan. What's going to happen? You're going to end up nowhere. You won't just stand up and just be, you're just wasting your time. So you must have a plan. So if you want to go to Ibadan, what will you do? You will look for a vehicle going to Ibadan. Is that not correct? You're going to find out how much it costs to get to Ibadan. So the same thing with career development. You have a job or you're about to get a job. It's not enough for you to allow the job to just happen to you. You have to decide, where is it that I want to go with my career? So your job is not necessarily your career. You can be in a job, but that's not the all in all. It's just a position or an opportunity or a platform for you to grow your career. So you have to be intentional about it. And that's the problem I have seen with people. A lot of people are not intentional about their careers. So you just wake up in the morning, all you know is you jump your bus, go to VI, you do your work, push files, photocopy, do everything, and at the end of the month they pay you a salary. Before you know it, you will not know when 10 years have come upon you and you have been doing nothing. That's the truth. I have seen people that sit down and are like, wait, I have worked here for 8 years, and what really have I done? How much of it has really impacted me in my own career? What progress have I done? So the essence of this is to make sure that, you're intentional about your career. You get to that point where you want to go. So first of all, career development is looking to the future. So what is career development? The speaker before me talked about it or said what career development is in a nutshell, but we'll just talk about it again. What is it? Career development is just simply the management of your career from the start to the finish. So there are going to be, of course, series of activities geared towards building that career. And it's something that will identify you in the workplace. Now, when we say career, there was someone that spoke, Mr. Bolaji Alonge. He talked about not just, it's not about just working in an office. So your career can refer to anything. It could be you being in the workplace, or even you doing some skills, some other jobs that are not necessarily in the workplace. So when I'm saying career development, I'm talking about it in all ramifications. And just know that career development is a continuous process. So it doesn't stop. So every day you're learning. Every day you're acquiring skills, right? Why must you develop your career? I'm pretty sure that some of us have heard discussions around working to the future. There have been discussions around how the world